Have you ever looked around and wondered why the rich keep getting richer while you're still fighting just to survive? You work hard, you sacrifice, yet every month feels the same: bills, stress, and barely enough to breathe. It feels unfair, doesn't it? But here's the truth almost no one dares to say. Money doesn't obey fairness. Money obeys power. And power is never given. It's taken strategically. That's why you stay broke. Because you still believe in the rules. You still believe hard work will be rewarded. That if you just wait your turn, someone will notice your effort. But the wealthy, they don't wait. They don't hope. They engineer their wealth by bending people, systems, even reality itself. If you don't understand the cold principles behind that game, you'll always be prey, a servant inside someone else's empire. What you're about to hear isn't motivation. It's not work harder or save more. Because if hard work alone created wealth, every laborer would already be rich. But they aren't, because they were never taught what Machiavelli called the art of hidden power. Today, you'll hear the laws that schools never teach, your parents never knew, and the rich will never say out loud. These laws aren't pretty. They aren't kind. But if you understand them, you will never see money or the world the same way again. Have you noticed something? The poorer a person is, the more they talk. They talk about plans, dreams, and the day they'll finally make it. But the wealthy, they stay silent, not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand silence is a weapon. In the game of money, most people destroy themselves through their own words. They complain when they're tired, boast when they win a little, and expose their emotions like a signal for others to read. But Machiavelli knew, the one who controls silence controls power, because silence creates pressure. When you say nothing, people start guessing, and when they guess, they reveal themselves. In negotiation, the one who talks too much always loses. They try to prove their worth, to please, to fill the void. The silent one just observes. They make others nervous until those people reveal the very secrets they meant to protect. The rich understand this. They walk into rooms calm, composed, quiet. They don't rush to speak. They let everyone else show their cards. And when the time is right, they strike. While everyone else bleeds words, they collect information. Silence turns them from prey into predator. Think about it. How many times have you regretted saying too much? How many times did your need to explain yourself cost you respect, a deal, or even your peace? Every careless word is a piece of leverage lost. Silence isn't avoidance. Silence is strategy. It makes you mysterious. And mystery creates value. The less people know about you, the more they're forced to respect you. From today on, stop trying to always be heard. Let others talk. Let them reveal. You just observe, store, and wait. Because in this world, the loud attract attention, but the silent command power. When you learn to weaponize silence, you stop reacting and start controlling. Comment below, silence is my strength. He tended the resigned faces trainters of marking, because from this moment forward, you no longer speak to prove. You speak to conquer. You've learned how to stay silent, but silence alone isn't enough. Because if people can still read you, they can still control you. That's why the second law exists. Become unreadable. Think about the last time you were angry, nervous, or afraid. Your face gave it away. Your voice changed. Your body shifted. And in that moment, anyone watching you owned you. Salesmen know when you hesitate. Bosses know when you need money. Lovers know when you'll give in. They don't need to ask, they just read you. Machiavelli warned, A prince must learn how not to be good when necessary. He didn't mean cruelty. He meant control. Control over expression, over reaction, over exposure. In the game of power, calm is armor, silence is the blade, and an unreadable face is the mask that terrifies everyone. Look at truly powerful people. They rarely react. Bad news? Calm. Praise? Still calm. They've mastered the art of emotional stillness, because whoever controls their emotions controls the battlefield. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't react, don't defend, don't explain, just stare silent, still, unshaken. You'll see something shift. They'll lose control. Humans fear what they can't predict. We're comfortable with the loud, the emotional, the explainable, but the unreadable, that's unsettling. It's dominance without aggression. It's power without volume. When you become unreadable, you become untouchable. No one can anticipate your next move. No one can plan against you. You become what Machiavelli would call a shadow with intention. You don't need to outsmart everyone. You just need to stop letting them read you. Because when people can't understand you, they stop trying to fight you. They either follow you or fear you. And that's the real secret. It's not about being mysterious for attention. It's about being calm in chaos, invisible in noise, and untouchable under pressure. If you've ever felt like people read you too easily, comment below. Never again. Because from today on, you're not a book to be read. You're a labyrinth. They can enter, but they'll never find the center. This is the second law of Machiavellian wealth. Turn emotion into strategy. Turn expression into control. Because in a world where everyone is shouting their feelings, the one who stays unreadable rules them all. You've learned to stay silent. You've learned to become unreadable. But there's one more trait that separates the hunter from the hunted. The predator's patience. Most people are impulsive. They chase everything that shines. They panic when things go wrong. They act first, think later, and mistake movement for progress. But Machiavelli understood something brutal. The fastest don't win. The most patient do. Predators don't run after their prey. They watch. They study, they wait for weakness, and when the timing is perfect, they strike once and end it. The same law governs wealth. The poor rush into trends. They buy at the top, sell at the bottom, jump from one opportunity to the next. The rich move slowly. They watch while others panic. They know speed is emotion, and emotion bleeds power. Patience isn't about waiting. It's about calculating. It's observing while others burn their energy. It's holding position until the battlefield clears. It's knowing that one precise move is worth more than 100 impulsive ones. The next time you feel desperate to act, pause. Take one breath. Ask yourself, am I moving or am I being moved? Because in that pause, you'll feel something shift. You'll start seeing the game instead of being played by it. The rich buy when fear fills the air. They expand when others retreat. They wait for storms, because storms create discounts, opportunities, and silence. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Meaning, the wise act only when the outcome is certain. Everyone else acts out of fear, emotion, or noise. Patience is not passivity. It's silent aggression. The art of doing nothing until nothing becomes the perfect strike. If you've ever lost something because you rushed, comment, "I will wait like a predator." Because when you master patience, you stop chasing and start hunting. Remember this, the impulsive drown in chaos. The patient build empires from it. Power doesn't belong to those who run faster. It belongs to those who wait longer and move only once when the world isn't ready. You've mastered silence. You've learned to be unreadable. You've learned to wait while others panic. But Machiavelli knew patience alone doesn't make you powerful. You can be calm, intelligent, and disciplined, yet still stay broke if you keep fighting with your own hands. That's why he wrote, "A prince must learn to use the arms of others." Well, I will the dunas, meaning powerful people don't fight their battles alone. They fight through leverage. This is Law 4. Leverage, the art of multiplying yourself. Look around you. Poor people trade time for money. Rich people trade systems for freedom. The poor say, if I work harder, I'll earn more. But time is a currency that never multiplies. Once it's spent, it's gone. The rich say, if I build systems, people, or ideas that work for me, I'll earn even when I sleep. That's leverage. And it's the secret behind every empire. You can't build a castle with bare hands, but you can build an empire if you learn how to use the strength of others, their time, their skills, their attention, even their emotions. Think about your job. You work 8, 10, maybe 12 hours a day. Your boss? He may not even be there. You labor, he accumulates power because you are his leverage. The question is, when will you start creating your own? Every time you trade hours for dollars, you sell the only resource that never comes back, your freedom. When you build leverage, you stop serving someone else's dream and start constructing your own. Leverage can take many forms: people, technology, media, money, or systems. The smart don't do everything themselves. They set up the chessboard, then move only the pieces that matter. Machiavelli would call this invisible warfare, winning without fighting, earning without sweating. It's not luck, it's architecture. If you've ever worked harder but earned less, comment, I need leverage, because the moment you stop chasing every opportunity and start creating systems that attract them, the game changes. The truth is brutal, effort is noble, but structure is superior. In this world, the strong don't win by muscle, they win by design. The worker runs, the strategist directs, and the one who holds the leverage owns the outcome. You've seen how the powerful use leverage, how they multiply their strength through systems, people, and design. But there's a form of leverage even greater than that, one that bends entire markets, nations, and generations. It's called the law of narrative. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago when he wrote, "Men are driven by imagination more than by reason. People don't follow logic, they follow stories." That's why Apple doesn't sell phones. They sell identity. Luxury brands don't sell clothes. They sell status. And influencers, they don't sell products. They sell the illusion of transformation. Money doesn't chase truth. Money chases belief. The poor believe that good work speaks for itself. The rich know that the story is what gives work its value, because truth without a story is invisible, and a lie wrapped in the right story becomes reality. Religions, politics, corporations, they're all built on narrative. A leader doesn't need to be right. He only needs to be believed. Ask yourself, how many of your decisions are truly your own? How many things have you bought, joined, or defended because of a story someone else wrote? That's the power of narrative. It turns perception into currency. And the ones who control perception control the flow of money. If you ignore this law, you'll live inside someone else's story forever, working, arguing, consuming, and for their benefit, not yours. So start watching the stories around you. Every ad, every movement, every truth. They're not communication, they're design, a test to see who still thinks and who only reacts. Machiavelli would say, appearances are everything. In this world, the truth doesn't win. The best story does. If you've ever realized that you were being sold a story, comment, "No more lies," because from today on, you are not the audience. You are the author. Learn this, and you'll never again chase approval, attention, or fame. You'll craft them. Because he who shapes the story shapes the system, and the system prints the money. You now understand how stories move the world. But the rich don't just control stories. They control substitution, the power to replace their own effort with the effort of others. This is Law 6, the law of substitution. It's simple but deadly true. A worker trades time for money. A ruler trades ideas for people's time. Who works harder? Who earns more? Who sleeps better at night? The answer is always the same. The poor believe, if I work harder, I'll have more. But the harder they work, the deeper they sink, because they're trading the one thing that can't multiply: hours. The rich never sell hours. They sell positions. They create systems where value flows through them first, before it reaches anyone else. Think of the man who hires 10 workers to dig 10 holes. He doesn't touch a shovel. He still earns most of the profit. That's not unfair. That's substitution. The law of using structure instead of sweat. Machiavelli wrote, "A ruler should never rely on his own arms alone. Is it Remus to the style? The powerful never fight with their own hands. They fight through others. They build engines of effort that run without them. Every time you do everything by yourself, you're still a soldier in someone else's army." The rich never ask, "How can I do this?" They ask, "Who can do this for me?" Stop thinking like a worker. Start thinking like an architect. Because in this game, whoever controls the structure controls the outcome. Substitution isn't exploitation. It's elevation. It's replacing constant labor with design, with leadership, with thought. If you've ever felt like others get rich off your work, comment, "No more." Because from today, you're not a gear in someone else's machine. You're the one building the machine. Remember, money doesn't flow to those who move the most. It flows to those who position themselves, so that everyone else's movement feeds into them. That's the Machiavellian secret. Power doesn't come from effort. It comes from position. And when you learn to substitute your labor for systems that work in your place, you stop being an employee and become an empire. When you understand the law of substitution, you begin to see what most people never notice. But Machiavelli revealed something even deeper, a principle so dangerous that those who master it rule the world of perception itself. This is Law 7, the law of illusion. The world isn't ruled by truth. It's ruled by what looks true. Diamonds are just rocks. Luxury brands are just fabric. Money is just paper with ink. But through illusion, they gain power, value, and control over billions. The intelligent don't sell products. They sell feelings. They sell meaning. They sell the version of you that you wish you were. That's why you pay $5 for a $1 cup of coffee. That's why you upgrade your phone when the old one still works. That's why you believe that one more purchase will make you happy. No one forces you. You willingly enter the illusion. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you really are." Everyone sees your surface. Few ever see your truth. And the distance between those two, that's where power lives. Don't underestimate illusion, because in the hands of the powerful, illusion isn't deception, it's design. The poor try to prove they're real. The rich know that being believed is more profitable than being real. When you learn to create illusion, you don't have to shout. You don't have to explain. You simply appear as the version of yourself that others want to believe in. and they'll fill in the rest with their own imagination. If you've ever been fooled by an image, a brand, or a person, comment, "Illusion rules the world." Because even when you know it's an illusion, you still can't stop believing. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He who controls illusion controls the crowd. And in today's world, illusion has become the strongest currency on earth. The truth doesn't move markets. Belief does. And once you learn how to shape belief, you no longer need to chase power. You'll find it already bending toward you. Once you learn how to create illusion, you begin to see the hidden cracks in human behavior, and that's where real power begins. This is Law 8, the law of exploitation. The word exploit sounds cruel, but Machiavelli would say, exploitation isn't evil, it's awareness. Because in the game of power, if you don't exploit the world will exploit you. The powerful aren't just smarter, they're more awake. They see what others overlook: unused value, wasted energy, blind emotion, and unguarded fear. While the masses complain, they act quietly. When markets collapse, ordinary people panic. The Machiavellian smiles. He buys cheap while others flee. When everyone else spends, he saves. When others scream, he listens. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. In the real world, good people don't win for long. Only those who can see opportunity inside weakness survive. When others panic, you observe. When they hesitate, you move. Because every moment of weakness in others is a moment of power for you. Machiavelli wrote, "Never waste the weakness of men." The moment someone shows fear, laziness, or vanity, you've already found your leverage point. That's how empires are built, not from fairness, but from awareness. If you've ever been taken advantage of, comment, "Never again," because from now on, you won't be used. You'll understand the game. Exploitation isn't always about hurting others. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. It's turning disorder into opportunity. It's watching the crowd throw away gold disguised as dirt and picking it up without apology. Think about fear. When panic spreads, most people run, but the predator waits. He watches the herd scatter, then strikes where the noise is loudest and the guard is weakest. Think about attention. Billions waste it scrolling every day. The smart capture that attention, turning distraction into income, confusion into control. That's not manipulation, that's reality. Because if you refuse to exploit opportunities, someone else will exploit you, and they'll call it business. So remember this: to survive is instinct. To exploit is intelligence. The world rewards those who see clearly enough to turn chaos into currency. You've learned how to exploit the world, but even the sharpest predators fall when they reveal too much. The greatest mistake of power is exposure. That's why Machiavelli taught the final law, the law of withholding. The more people speak, the more they lose control. The more they explain, the easier they are to predict. And in the game of power, predictability is death. This world worships transparency, honesty, and openness. But the truth is brutal. The more visible you are, the easier you are to destroy. Machiavelli once wrote, "He who controls appearances controls men. Appearances are armor, and strategic silence is the hidden blade beneath it." Powerful people don't show their full hand. They reveal just enough to inspire curiosity, but never enough to give away control. Every mystery they create adds to their value. The less people know, the more they respect or fear them. Think of the people who fascinate you most. They never overshare. They leave questions unanswered, pauses unfilled, expressions unreadable. And that uncertainty forces your mind to chase them. Mystery is magnetic because it feeds the imagination. In a world where everyone is shouting, mystery has become the rarest currency. When others rush to post, explain, and confess, you will hold back, because silence, once again, is pressure. The weak believe they need to be understood to be accepted. The strong understand that being too understood means being easily controlled. If someone can map your fears, your limits, your needs, they can puppet you. If you've ever regretted saying too much, comment, "Silence is my armor." Because, from today forward, you won't speak to be liked, you'll speak to be remembered. Withholding doesn't mean hiding everything. It means choosing what to reveal and when. Every piece of information you give away should serve your design, not your emotions. Every pause should be intentional. Every silence, strategic. Each word you speak is a piece of power you release. Each moment you withhold it, you sharpen it. In this world, the loud are temporary. The silent become legends. Because when the crowd is shouting for attention and you remain still, unbothered, unreadable, you become something more than human. You become a presence. If you've made it this far, you're no longer who you were. You've crossed a line most people will never approach. The border between ignorance and awareness. You've learned the 9 laws of Machiavellian wealth, and with each one, you've shattered an illusion. Now, you finally see the world for what it is. Not a game of fairness, but a war of perception, leverage, and control. Most people will never see this truth. They'll keep chasing comfort, applause, and approval, blind to the systems quietly feeding on their labor and emotions. They'll keep talking while others observe. They'll keep reacting while others design. They'll keep hoping while others plan. But not you, because now you understand what Machiavelli tried to warn us. Money doesn't follow effort. It follows strategy. And freedom isn't found in kindness. It's found in control. Look at the world. People post their every thought online, expose their desires, emotions, and weaknesses for free. Meanwhile, the powerful stay silent, watching, calculating, feeding off that exposure. Every word you speak feeds someone's data machine. Every emotion you share becomes a weapon used against you. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Not because he worshipped fear, but because he understood the human heart. People don't respect what they can predict. They respect what they can't control. Power isn't about shouting louder. It's about knowing when to stay silent. Power isn't about being understood. It's about being unreachable. Power isn't about being liked. It's about being remembered. You've learned silence bends people. Unreadability shields you. Patience multiplies your timing. Leverage turns effort into systems. Narrative moves money through belief. Substitution replaces labor with structure. Illusion shapes reality. Exploitation transforms chaos into profit. And withholding protects everything you've built. That is the Machiavellian code of wealth. If you're ready to stop chasing approval and start building power, comment, "I choose power," because this isn't arrogance. It's awareness. It's the moment you stop apologizing for being strategic. Machiavelli never taught people how to be loved. He taught them how to be untouchable. He never promised happiness. He promised clarity. When you master these laws, you stop chasing money. Money starts chasing you. You stop seeking validation. Validation starts orbiting you. Because true wealth isn't just numbers. It's freedom from control. And someday, when you look around, you'll see people still arguing about fairness, still clinging to morality they can't afford, still waiting for permission to be powerful. And you'll smile, because you'll know what they don't. The world doesn't reward the good. It rewards the calculated. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be faster. You just need to be inevitable. Move quietly. Build deliberately. Observe endlessly. And when the time comes, strike once, with precision. The crowd will never see you coming. They'll call it luck, but you'll know it was always design. Comment, I choose power. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper into the world where Machiavelli, money, and psychology merge. Where you don't just survive, you design your destiny. Because the deeper you go, the darker it gets. And once you cross this line, there's no going back.